Tonight, even more calls for action after a 13 News investigation that exposed devastating fires inside Indiana's oldest prison.
So those fires have resulted in horrible injuries and deaths. Senior investigative reporter Bob Siegel discovered disturbing details about how the fires are continuing.
These reports show dozens of fires at Indiana State Prison in just the past year. And the scope of this problem of inmates being burned alive is now forcing state leaders to pay attention. This 165-year-old prison in Michigan City has a dark secret.
This is real life stuff. It's a whole different world in here.
With the help of inmates and grieving families,
I've cried every day since my brother passed.
13 Investigates has been exposing devastating fires inside Indiana State Prison and widespread fire safety problems, including serious electrical issues and repeated failures by prison and state leaders to address dangers that have been around for decades.
This is the first kind of spate of them where you've had a few that say there's an issue.
Governor Braun told me he did not know about the problems until 13 Investigates reported another inmate was badly burned by another fire just a few weeks ago. He's now promised action.
You got to attend to it and fix it. So, yes, we will be looking to see what is behind this, do a full investigation of it. Once it happens on my watch, we're going to get to the bottom of it.
But 13 Investigates has learned this is not the first time an inmate has been burned at Indiana State Prison on Governor Braun's watch. 13 News just obtained a new batch of fire incident reports from the prison. They showed dozens of fires since the governor took office 15 months ago. And at least 3 of those fires required inmates to go to a hospital, including Adam Schaefer, who was badly burned about 2 weeks ago. His parents say Adam is still in critical condition and fighting for his life.
65% of his body is burned, so this is significant.
These latest fire incident reports reveal not only injuries, but also the same ongoing fire safety problems that 13 Investigates highlighted in our documentary. Multiple cell fires resulting from sparking and faulty electrical outlets, a problem inmates described happening all over the prison.
You know, the sockets like that, sometimes they just catch on fire on their own, you know what I mean? And I seen it with my own eyes. I'm like, wow.
The incident reports also highlight more problems involving staff training. During some recent fires, correctional officers did not know what emergency signal to call to get help. And in another fire, the report says officers were lost and didn't know what to do. The same problem inmates described following a fire that killed Josh Devine nearly a decade ago.
None of them knew what they was doing.
Park County.
And last month, during the fire that burned Adam Schaefer, correctional officers again seemed unprepared for the moment. Just listen to the 911 call.
We are needing an EMS for a burn victim. Okay. What's the address? What is the address here? Or Indiana State Prison. All right, what's the callback number for you? Oh, goodness. I don't even know what the number is here.
Again, it's important to point out none of these problems are new, even if folks at the State House are just learning about them. And now that they are, it's not just the governor who says this problem needs to be fixed.
I don't think that there could be anything more terrifying than being burned alive.
State Senator Rodney Paul represents Michigan City, and so does State Representative Randy Novak, who used to be Michigan City's fire chief.
We need to get some answers.
They're both calling on the Indiana Department of Correction to explain why these prison fires keep happening and what the department is doing to stop them.
When you look at what you guys have uncovered, how this can happen, that is incredibly problematic.
There has to be a plan here. There has to be something other than, oh crap, lost another one. That's not acceptable.
And both lawmakers are calling on Governor Braun to shut down this old prison, which has no fire sprinklers and no system for inmates to alert staff about emergencies. Closing the prison was supposed to happen next year, when the state completes a new $1.2 billion maximum security facility in Westville. But Governor Braun and his DOC commissioner recently announced this.
We do not know when we are going to shut down the state prison.
They now plan to keep Indiana State Prison open beyond 2027, even after a massive new prison is completed, and despite widespread fire safety issues throughout these century-old cell houses.
The facility should have been closed years ago. It needs to be gone.
Let's move on from this facility. If this is still happening, it's very indicative that the fact that this is going to continue to happen. This is going to continue to cost, cost us injuries. It's going to continue to cost us in lawsuits potentially. To me, it's just not worth it.
They say if DOC will not find a closure date for the prison, Indiana lawmakers should.
I think you guys have kind of forced the hand a little bit. I don't think anybody from the state wants another story like this.
This is a common sense, doing what's right for human beings issue. This is not a Democrat, Republican. This is how in God's name are we allowing this to still happen?
Again, the governor told me he's called for an investigation to get to the bottom of these injuries and deaths. Last week, 13 Investigates sent the governor and the DOC this 4-page letter outlining the problems we discovered, along with a list of questions about how those issues will be addressed. We are still waiting for a response. I'm Bob Siegel, 13 Investigates.
Thank you, Bob. And what we just showed you is a small part of the larger documentary called Burned Alive. And Bob's reporting, he has more on those fires, and you can stream this documentary right now on WTHR Plus or watch it on the WTHR YouTube channel.